it's Kat. Welcome back to my channel. So we will be moving. I'm high strung, can you tell? Um, Extremely stressed out, super overwhelmed. Uh, where do I even begin? So, I mean, I guess the beginning, right? So we moved into this upper unit as an all utilities included, $1,000 a month um, lease, right? Come to find out, it was definitely not all utilities included because there was no heat. So there was one furnace with one thermostat that was controlled by the downstairs. It seemed fine. Our son was born mid-November, and I shit you not, 3 days after we got home from the hospital with him, I texted the landlord. I'm like, hi, hey, I think there's something wrong. There doesn't seem to be any heat anymore. He pretended he pretended like he had no idea what was going on. He was like, oh, I'll get somebody I know to fix it, you know, yada yada yada. He had his guys come over, who were always super nice. No shade to them, you know, you gotta have a job and all that. Can't can't always control who you work for. We all know that. Sometimes you just need a paycheck. And so they were always super nice. They came over, fixed, I guess, their furnace. I think what had actually happened is the downstairs neighbors who hate us for whatever reason. Initially, I thought it was just because we owned cats, as the upper unit and them being the lower. They have two dogs, mind you. A small, like, beagle type thing and a Stafford, a Staffy. Um, so, pretty large dog for the second one. But I assume they didn't like us for our cats. He turned off 3 days after we brought the baby home. I assume what happened is that they have what most everybody in New York has, just in case for the winters. And they have a space heater, and they were just like, we'll just turn this on and turn off the heat. So whatever heat we were getting was just the residual heat coming up through the vents that are installed to I guess their apartment. I don't know, because they were never like installed to anything directly. Like, oh Lord. But yeah, they leave. I'm like, hey, doesn't really seem like it worked. He just ignores me. I have all of the our whole line of text saved. He's admitted before that he doesn't even always read my text message. He just deletes it. If it's more than like a sentence or two, that's too much for him to read. So he just deletes it on site, which is your problem. I keep all of my text messages. I can go to my phone carrier right now and have the entire conversation printed out, and I made sure to keep that. Like, I'm not, I may be an ex-addict, but I'm not stupid. So he ignored us. He did another, like, oh, fix it, yada yada. And then he went and installed like a radiator, using our gas line from our stove. They like split it or something, and installed this radiator that would only stay on for like 2 to 5 minutes, and then the pilot would blow out with no outside breeze, like nobody moving near it, no nothing. I mean, this is a huge installed into the wall, coming off the wall unit. Sent somebody over to clean the brand new radiator. That did nothing. So the entire winter went by and we had no heat. We ended up having to have Dylan go to his mother down the street and carry back a big electric heater. And we ran the electric bill up, I'm sure, quite significantly, just attempting to heat the house. We had to hang blankets in all the different doorways that don't have doors, just to try to keep the heat in like 2 rooms of the house, of the apartment, because we have an infant. We had a newborn. And there may have been 2 radiators that came and went. I don't even know. That one's still there. Now he won't get it. Like, but what was it? March? I believe it was March. He had his guys come over and actually install our unit, our apartment, a furnace. And now, right behind the camera, we have our own thermostat. Whoa, which the downstairs neighbors admitted to disabling because it had apparently like popped their breaker or something, which is something that happens literally like no matter what. Like you go to make a cup of coffee with the Keurig and have the microwave going and you're popping the breaker. But yeah, that annoyed them. It was a safety hazard. So instead of informing the landlord, they just disabled our furnace with a baby upstairs. Admitted it to the landlord, or not to the landlord, but to the mechanic as he was fixing it a few days later. Because I'm like, all right, great, you installed the furnace. There was heat for like a day or two, and now there doesn't seem to be. And the fixer guy was, oh yeah, well he said it had popped his breaker, so what? So what? Call the landlord. Like, why the fuck are you touching my property? Similarly, with the touching of the property, like he had messaged the landlord stating that I do too much laundry. I do too much laundry with a new baby. Mind you, our washer is an apartment mini washer that's up on my kitchen counter so that the hose can drain into the sink to, get the water out because it needs gravity. It doesn't just like push it out. So I do my washing upstairs, and then I bring the clothes after they're spun with most of the water out of them down to the dryer in the shared basement where their washer and dryer is and all of their storage, because they get to store things in the basement. They get to use the entire yard with his, janky, non-permitted shed that he built, and all the metal and the old tires and the rats and everything else. So he had texted the landlord, I guess, saying that I was doing laundry nonstop, were his words. No, I don't. I do like 2 loads a day, and that's I could do more. Trust me, I could always do more laundry, but I do about 2 loads a day. And then the following day, like that night, I had put in a load. I had taken out the dry clothes, started that load up, yada yada, went to bed. Gotten the text from the landlord that morning. Went down to the dryer like half hour later, so it's like, oh well, let me do my laundry early in the day so that I don't bother anybody. The clothes in the dryer were dry. Okay, so when I had put them in the evening, like 5-6 o'clock the previous day, they had taken their hours to dry. They had dried. I left them down there like I always do until I go bring another load down. And when I go down a couple hours later, clothes aren't dry. Clothes are soaking fucking wet. And the dryer is still going. And it's been like 2-3 hours. So I texted my landlord and I'm like, are you going to help us repair the dryer? Are you going to help us with the cost of replacing the dryer? And he was like, no, I didn't break your dryer. No, but you're the landlord and this is a shared space, and they clearly did. Nothing wrong with it. They make a false claim to you, and the following day there's something wrong with it. It's not something wrong with it, it's no longer working. We moved here July of last year with the help of donations and everything. We needed a bit more towards the deposit, and we were able to move in here, which got us on the same street as my son, soon to be born, his grandmother lived on, same street that she lives on. So we were like, great, awesome, like I'll have help. You know, the kids will have a grandparent that's close by that they can, you know, have her come out over, just have dinner, go over to their house for an hour, come back, you know, stuff like that. But you know, I was pretty heavily pregnant. You know, it was made clear that I was pregnant. Um, the downstairs neighbors were very standoffish. I remember when we came to view the place, they wouldn't even like look in our direction. They were like out on their porch and everything, and tried to be like, oh hey, hello, and nothing. And I was like, okay, that's fine. You know, that's to each their own. Like I'm not a friendly people person either. I just like to be polite. But that's okay. And then we didn't move in after viewing the place. You know, like I said, we didn't move in until July. I think it was like 2 months. Like he like ghosted us, the landlord or something, initially, and then said it was something about his like his his Google Voice or whatever. You know, like connecting, rejecting calls or what have you. And should have been a red flag. But like I said, it was all utilities included, so everything was in one bill. Grandma was down the road. There were no pet policies, no restrictions. And I had wanted to get a dog. I definitely knew that I wanted to get a little best friend for the child that I was carrying. You know, when the time was right. That early. So everything was just, you know, pretty right about this place. Like there was enough space. We turned the one bedroom into our living room and master bedroom, so that both the kids had their own room. Everything was great. The neighbors were standoffish, but whatever. And then, you know, we already had the cats that we had. You know, we had multiple cats when we moved in. They had dogs, like I said, and everything was fine until right after we brought the baby home. And then 3 days after we brought the baby home, no heat. Dude downstairs started taking, I guess, whatever he can, broom, whatever, and started banging on his ceiling in the middle of the night and yelling. And he's like, my cat could not jump off of a kitchen chair, which is barely any higher, if any, than our couches. Okay? My cats are a little fat. They're a little fat, but they're not that fat. I mean, from like laying down to being like, I feel like getting down. Plop. Like, no running around craziness. Like, they could not move at all without this guy freaking the fuck out. So that set off my postpartum depression, my postpartum anxiety. First started with the anxiety, and then, you know, on top of having a newborn with, back then it was undiagnosed GERD, undiagnosed CMPA, you know, all of that. On top of all of that, I was terrified to go to sleep because I was absolutely terrified that one of our cats would make a noise and this guy would start freaking out, and then the baby would get woken up from his, you know, short, you know, little 1-2 hour sleeps that they do as newborns, especially with reflux newborns. If you know, you know. There's no doors on like any of the bedrooms. We have a bathroom door and we have a front door. There is one other door, which was on our bedroom. We ended up going through all the effort of taking it off of our bedroom to put it onto the other kid's bedroom, so that we could keep the cats contained in like the back of the house at the end of the night, or the front of the house. My cats think that they get paid at the end of the night to go chill at the back of the house now. I go to pee, and they're like, where's our handful of treats sprinkled across the floor so that we can get locked up for the night? You know, like it caused one of my cats major anxiety. Multiple of them, but they all started picking on the one. We had to rehome him. You know, like it's been a lot, and just not letting an infant sleep, like, you know. And then it's not just the middle of the night. Whether or not the cats are locked up, they were always finding a reason to bang. There's always a reason, whether it's us going out quietly in the middle of the night, walking down our stairs to go have a cigarette, or him or Dylan leaving at, you know, especially in the wintertime, it was sometimes 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to go do snow removal before his actual shift. Absolute freaking out for like the entire day. And then the guy goes so far as there's one window in his nursery. Once we had him switched from our room to the nursery, there's one window in there, same wall that I'm against right now. Okay, their front door is directly under me. It's like directly under this window. He goes over to his window, stands right under it, and just starts yelling. I mean, yelling like random, like rah, 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 like crazy shit, crazy fucking immature, petty shit, trying to wake up an infant. Who the fuck does that? Like, my mama heart. Like, So then, not only the harassment, breaking our dryer. There's also been multiple incidents with my car. Upon moving in, they had this ghetto bricks laid out because the 2 parking spaces that we have per our lease are on the lawn. That's what it is. It's on the lawn. They've clearly been parking there for years. It's all dirt and what have you. But when we moved in, my one part of the parking space has all these ghetto, broken, janky bricks laid down. The neighbor's square of the same square of dirt, but like their portion is just dirt. Okay? And then they also have a parking space over here on the other side that is a slab of concrete. That's only theirs. Only they can park there. Everybody else, if you don't have parking on the street, you know, you do the whole one side of the street, I guess one night, one side of the street, the other night, bitch, my car's getting towed. There's no way. I can't even remember which days the trash goes out. Never mind, I gotta switch my car and which side of the street do I get to park on. But I digress. I had moved some of the really, really broken bricks. What was it? In front of their planter box that he installed there I believe after we moved in. On the side of, like, so I would only have so much space between the planter box on my left and their car on my right. I had moved some of the more broken bricks into like a nice little stack by the planter. I went to the store or what have you, and I came back and dude downstairs was moving them all back. And I was like, that's my parking space. I had already scraped up a whole line in my catalytic converter. Messed up my car. It not only tore open the catalytic converter, but there was a bar of some sort, I can't remember what piece of the car that was, that had also like come loose because a brick had gotten caught up underneath it, a brick that, you know, was not even whole, and it got caught up and just, oh my gosh, it just tore the underside of my car. So that one time the landlord had been like, oh, I'll pay for half of the repairs. Then I came home and he had, I guess, like stolen, you know those yellow strips that are at parking lots at like the grocery store and the mall that are in front of your car? Well, he got his hands on some of those. One of them was like a nice low, like, I guess like regular size, especially for like my car is a Ford Fusion. She's a low rider. That one would have been fine as like a marker, like, okay, this is how far forward you can pull or whatever. I don't know why you even need that. I was never up on the lawn. The whole thing is lawn. mind you, but I was never up on the grass. Only just enough to make sure that my ass end wasn't on the sidewalk because we have a lot of kids that play on our street. But he put the little one in front of their car, which is like some type of Jeep SUV something or other, pretty high up off the ground, much higher than my vehicle is. He put the low one in front of their vehicle, and he put this big tall one, like the size that the regular size that you would see at a grocery store or some shit, in front of my lowrider. Okay. So at some point in time, I had pulled up just a little bit over it, and upon pulling back, it ripped off my fender, or whatever it's called, you know, the front bumper thing. I believe it's a fender. It ripped off like the whole right side of it. Like, it wasn't off, but it was hanging, which I feel like is almost even worse. So that is currently, my mechanic was nice enough to like zip tie that all nice together for us, like really nice, and we're hoping that'll hold for quite some time to come. I went to move that yellow cylinder, whatever you call that thing. I went to move that, and I have it still somewhere on my camera roll. I made sure I had moved it, and he went and he was moving it back, and I yelled at my window. I'm like, do not touch my vehicle, do not edit my parking space anymore, like, don't put that in front of my car. And, you know, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, you don't know how to drive, and he proceeds to keep putting it in front of my car. So I went with, on my phone, on camera, I ran downstairs, left the baby with Dylan. Dylan, like, calls his mom, like, hey, can you get over here real quick, just in case? So, like, he's trapped upstairs, and I'm downstairs, and I just moved in front of my vehicle, and I'm like, I do not want that there. You keep on damaging my vehicle. Like, do not touch me, you know, like, get away from me. He drops the block or whatever, and I go to pick it up to continue to move it away, and dude grabbed my arm and started, like, trying to, like, pull me, shove me out of the way. I ended up with marks on this upper arm, on my left arm. Of course, the struggle of me having the camera in my right hand, like, you're not gonna fully see him on my phone grabbing me. You just see our struggle. And this is before we had our outdoor camera up and installed, before we went and made that an expense and bought that. Grandma arrives, runs upstairs, Dylan runs downstairs, you know, to make sure, like, the dude is, like, off of me and all that. And dude's wife runs out of the house, leaps down off the stairs, and comes flying. I have that full camera, and comes flying and shoves Dylan with all over Mike, which was hilarious because, like, he didn't move. But at the same time, it's assault. Cops were called. I called the cops. The cops came. They said it wasn't assault. Her shoving him. You can't see what the husband, how the husband grabbed me on camera. They wouldn't even look at my arm. They assumed that we were the addicts that lived here a few years ago. Because the downstairs has lived here for 5 years plus. So they're like, oh, we've been out here multiple times. Like, we're tired of dealing with y'all. And I'm like, sir, like, we haven't even lived here a year, you know, at that point in time. We haven't even lived here a year. Like, I don't even know who you're talking about. Like, we are not those people. Like, I have an infant upstairs, you know, like, this is an ongoing issue. They're harassing us, you know, like, nobody's helping. Like, please, like, can you listen? Like, would not listen to me. So, yeah, so, and then, landlord's main response is like, make a police report. I'm like, I'm trying to do so, but you need to help us. You know, that happened, like, I want to say Lucas was 3-4 months old at that point. So, like, you know, we've been dealing with the harassment, with the different things for a few months now. And he was still just like, he's like, but, like, can y'all just stay away from each other? Can y'all just, like, not talk? Can y'all just, So like it was very clear that it was just going to continue to escalate and get worse. So of course at this point in time, whenever I'm home alone with a baby, and at this point we have a puppy, we have a dog, right? So at this point, whenever I'm home alone with a baby and I need to go throw some laundry into the dryer or go take the puppy out, like I am carrying a pocket knife on me, and I told the PD that called, you know, like I'm making sure that I am safe. If I have to go to my vehicle to put me and my baby in the vehicle, like back when it was working, anything like that, like I'm carrying a pocket knife on me. Like if it comes down to one of these two clearly unstable people doing something or starting something with me alone and a puppy in one hand, a puppy's leash, you know, if it was like a full-grown pit bull or something like that might be helpful, but it's not. It's a little Australian Shepherd, you know, 4, 5, now 6 months old. Like she's not doing much, especially against Staffy. She ain't doing nothing, honestly. I have to protect her at that point, and then 20 plus pounds of baby and car seat in another. How am I gonna defend myself? You know, do you see how tiny I am? I mean, in the first place, like I got spunk. I got some spunk. I got heart. You know, I got the shit that counts. Except for this. Got none of this. So, you know, all jokes aside though, like, I don't. His response, when I finally told him a couple weeks ago, because it has been a couple weeks, my sobriety comes first, and I needed some time to collect myself, to feel, to process. There's been anger, there's been sadness. You know, I have his whole sticker wall. That Eric sent stickers, and then I spent like 4 hours, 8 months pregnant, sitting on his floor, putting them all up exactly how I wanted them, all perfect. And I do his monthly pictures against that wall, and we'll be at 9 months, you know, and so close. Like I really wanted it to be here, but we can set up another one when we get there, and it's a lot. Okay, you know, I like to use humor to deflect, I think more for myself than anything else. But this move is very stressful. This is gonna be like, I feel like the third time in 3 years now that I've moved. So I've moved like I've moved once a year. I don't know, I'm the kind of person that really likes to settle down and make a place a home. So, especially when moving onto this property, I really thought that we were gonna be here for like the next 3 to 5 years. You know, that the next place that we were gonna buy was gonna be like a house. But you know, at the end of the day, we have to put our child's safety above everything else, and that's really what it's come down to. You know, like yeah, we did finally get the heating sorted out, but you've made it very clear to us that throughout this next winter, if there's an issue, that you're not going to be there to help us. We don't have a ton of family kind of support here. I don't have any. New York is not my state. It's never been a place I wanted to settle down permanently. But I did definitely think that, you know, the next 3 to 5 years we're going to be here. And I had a vision for that. And it's disappointing and scary for that vision to change so suddenly. So I did have a conversation with the landlord through text, as usual, for my records, and tried to gaslight me. He literally was like, "What unsafe living conditions?" I said, "Please refer to all past texts." I mean, I have been assaulted. My man has. Apparently, it doesn't count as assault if it's a woman against a man. So, assaulted, I don't know. My baby has literally been sleep deprived at different points, you know, depending on how brave they get and how bored they are. You know, neither one of them work, so they are literally here 24/7. You know, I am too. I'm not throwing any shade, like whatever you got going. I mean, I know what you got going. Whatever checks that you get, cool. And, you know, whatever little side hustle he does, cool. You know, if you can provide for your kids and everything. But to just be home all day screaming at your wife and kid and torturing the wife and child above you as well, like, that's just on a crazy scale of patheticness. The landlord can say what he wants. I did go ahead, of course, and try to cover our butts as much as possible. So I followed up with yet another 311 report, this time including the heat issues as well, because, you know, I was trying to be, you know, as civil as possible, give him the benefit of the doubt, you know, all the way along the way. Of course, here comes Kat giving people the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, oh, he must not have known. He's definitely doing his best to fix it. You know, like, all winter long, like, oh, it's just some weird issue, like, he's definitely trying. Come to find out, like, he literally robbed us. Like, you took extra money for heat that never existed. You robbed us at the end of the day. But yeah, he wanted to respond with what unsafe living conditions, throw some threats around. Of course, I will be awaiting my official eviction notice, according to him. But I went ahead and I called 311 again, after him and I had spoken, to just let them know, like, hey, you know, I have let him know, like, he's not going to be able to receive any more rent because we now need to allocate everything that we possibly can to moving. Whether that be in the state of New York or out of the state of New York, it doesn't really matter. Like, the cost of living is the cost of living. By moving out of the state of New York, because we're moving with two of my best friends in the entire world, our rent will be significantly lower because we're, like, fixing the place up and everything, but we will be paying for our electricity now. We'll be paying for our own heat now. We need to get all of our stuff, not all, that's funny. We need to get what we can fit of our stuff down there, and we don't have a lot, but the minimum, the smallest U-Haul, like the actual truck, I forget what it's, like a 10-foot or something, is $1,528. $28 I might have made up. It's $1,500 something, for the amount of miles that we have to go. So that's out. There's no way we can do that. So we'll be doing like maybe like trailer style. Of course, everything of Lucas's goes first, and then what we can fit of our essentials we will afterwards. But of course, you know, it just comes at a time. Like literally, his week just changed from him getting like fresh fruits and veggies and eggs and milk to now that he's allowed purees, only getting purees and baby cereal that he can't have, that I told him he can't have. They don't care. So now that he can eat real food, you know, mind you, he's going on 8 months old. Now that he can eat real food, they're not giving him real food. He only gets the purees. Okay, so we're stocking up on as many purees as we can. I got him some reusable silicone pouches because he gets really frustrated when it flings off the spoon. And again, he can't have baby cereal, gluten-free, so I can't thicken it up at all. So I got him some reusable pouches, so we will definitely use all of them for sure. And then also our food stamps got cut, like by $200. So now we are not getting any fresh fruits or vegetables for him through the week. That's all through the food stamps. But then they also cut the food stamps by like $200. Right. Thank you. Plus, by the time we move, I told the landlord, you know, we will be out within 90 days, you know, same thing that he gave the downstairs, who have absolutely no plans of moving, that we will definitely be out within 90 days, that he can have his unit back, he can rent it to whoever. We're not going to obviously destroy or do anything to the property, you know, we're going to leave it as clean, and as close to the same exact condition as we got it. He wasn't happy with that, but you know, that it did enable us to at least put my car into the shop. She magically had a popped left front tire, which is right off the angle of our camera view, and then the back right had a bubble in it, so that was going to blow anyway. And she had a clogged catalytic converter, so half of what we had for the rent for today went into just getting her into the shop, and then we're gonna see how much the remainder is whenever my mechanic is done with her and gives me that terrifying call. But then the fun part, I was doing my little research last night, like I like to do, with my anxiety and about like everything, and because I was like, oh, I'm gonna need new plates, right? Need new plates going to a different state, right? You do. Well, we're about to renew my car insurance. I just got out of my first year driving as a licensed driver in the state of New York, so we were paying just under $500 per month for car insurance. Okay, I got it down with the defensive driving course, as well as being past my first year. I got it down to just under $400 a month. It was going to be our new payments. When I re-enrolled this week for $580, something like that. It's just below $600 to re-enroll. Well, you do need new plates in the new state. How do you get new plates, you ask? Well, you need insurance through that state that you're in. You have 30 days to do it. You have 30 days to get your insurance. You have 30 days to get like your new driver's license. You have 30 days to get insurance plates. So I'm gonna have to pay almost $600 to renew the insurance because we need the car to drive down to Georgia. We have 3 cats, a dog, and an infant. It's a Ford Fusion. She's not huge. Our friends are driving up to help us out and everything. They're going to be the ones towing the trailer with all of our belongings on it. But yeah, there's no way that 3 adults, 3 cats, a dog, and an infant are going to fit in a truck, like a pickup, whatever. Like, it's just not, it's not going to happen. As well as I need a vehicle to be able to get down everywhere I need to get. I forget what they call the office down there, but to be able to reapply for food stamps, to maybe reapply for WIC. I don't know. Like, the paperwork may take so long that he may turn a year right as we get approved anyway. I don't know if there's really any point to it. I don't know. I have lists. Okay, I have lists of things I need to do, Medicaid, you know, all of that. Like, I need to be able to at least have my car for the first 30 days that we are there, to make sure that we are medically insured, and receiving some type of assistance with food, you know, all that. So yeah, I think that, you know, mostly covers the stress, kind of. The financial stress. I think that mostly covers my financial woes. And of course, you know, it would, we have somewhere around a 15-hour trip, right? Okay, 15, 16 hours. It would be great to stop in the middle of that, you know, like rest for the night. The only 2 people who can drive are myself and my female best friend. So both the wives of the relationship will be the drivers. And we can't switch out. We don't have any help. We don't have anything. But we absolutely cannot afford to stop and get one, or I think it would even maybe have to be 2 motel rooms for the night, because, you know, ain't nobody letting, how many are we up to now? Did I say 3 adults? Ain't nobody letting 4 adults, an infant, a dog, and 3 cats into their motel room. Unless they are. If they are anywhere on the, what are we, East Coast, anywhere on the East Coast, you let me know. We will drive out of our way to go find that motel, just to be able to bring all, because I'm not leaving my cats outside in the car either. That's not happening. So yeah, so a couple people had suggested that I try to set up a GoFundMe. I have a lot of shame in doing so. I have no problem sharing that with the internet. You know, like I said, we did get help with donations just to be able to get into this place. So for us to be moving, literally, I mean, today is like a year on the dot that we moved in, and then we're moving in what, you know, like 60, 90 days. So for us to be moving within a year, it's embarrassing, it's disappointing, it's frustrating, but it's not what we planned. It's not what we expected. So I did go ahead and set up a GoFundMe. I will link it below, since I figured out how to do that. As always, we don't expect anything, but if anybody does want help with moving expenses, maybe making it possible for us to try to spend the night somewhere overnight, or even, I don't know, maybe we could like stop in and like have just like the women take naps, like in like a small room for like even like 4 hours, to let the women like power nap while the boys go do something. As well as, you know, we're also going to have expenses when we get there. Of course, you know, we're still going to need to buy our regular monthly toiletries and, you know, any kind of anything. My brain's a little bit too overwhelmed to even continue to list for myself all of the things we need to do, we need to get, need to know, need to stress about. But I am definitely excited to share, you know, just our journey, our move, our experience, all of that. You know, the foundation, walls and wiring will be done before we move into our new little home. But the rest of it, you know, will definitely need some fixing up. We will be working to make that, you know, like I said, a home. I don't care. I don't care what happens. We're never moving again in our lives. Like, I swear, never again. And then I will be excited to add some homesteading content. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have a little bit of an idea. I've been doing a lot of research these last couple weeks. This was already a plan in the making for like a year from now. So, you know, it was something that we were slowly getting ready for, working towards. But you know, like 10 months from now and 2 months from now are vastly different circumstances. So I am very excited to move. We will be getting right off rip. We're definitely getting some chickens. When the weather gets warmer, then we'll start with like the ducks. I have never grown anything in my life without killing it, but I've been doing a lot of research. Okay, I've been learning a lot of things, and I am super excited to start my journey on trying to grow food for our family. It's going to be all about just sustaining our family. I would love to get good enough at it and at all of it, because it's not just it. I mean, there's so many different things that come with it. But I would love to get really good at it, and to build a flock and a herd and a field where I have enough production to also start like a small business, small farm stand, selling to like our neighbors and community. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm excited to try. We are all excited to try. So yeah, so even if you guys can't donate, even if you've never been through anything like this before, if you have, please drop a comment below. I would love to hear other people's experiences, to just not feel like we're so alone in this. Because I really feel like we just had the best intentions, and we have just been really great tenants, you know, this entire time, and we've tried. We really gave it our all here, and it just didn't work out. So yeah, if anybody's had any experience with slummy landlords, slummy neighbors, slummy places, drop a comment below. Let me know that we're not so alone. Even if you can't donate, absolutely all right. Please stick around. Follow me for more content. I would love to share us trying our best at this homesteading thing, you know. I just can't wait for Lucas to be able to grow up knowing how to plant and produce his own foods for his family. Just everything about the earth and about God and nature. And so, you know, as hard as this journey may be in the next couple of months, I know it's going to be worth it. I know it's the right move. I know that we're going to be okay, you know. And that's all I got. So thanks for listening.